So we've had a few questions about how we mounted the fuel cell in the truck. Originally these trucks had a fuel tank behind the seat in the cab. A lot of people, obviously for a number of reasons, most importantly safety, move it out of the cab and onto the bed. With ours we did the same thing. We put a fuel cell in the rear of the truck under the bed. It was a little tricky though because we kept the bed floor at the same depth as it was originally, so you can sort of see it there. A lot of guys when they lower the trucks will raise the floor up and give themselves a little bit more room underneath. We didn't do that, so we mounted it right underneath, and then what you can see, we put a opening right in the floor. We're not taking stuff in and out of here, sliding in and out, so it's not a big deal to have that there. They do sell kits. I know a couple of companies sell kits. It's a nice little recess, so you can like push on it and the wood flips up, and it's real fancy, and it's a couple $100s. This was a fuel cap or a gas cap off of a Jeep Wrangler. I think it was about 15 bucks. It's metal, so it's nice and solid. You could stand on it and flips right up, and boom, there it is. We used a fuel cell, an RCI fuel cell. It's a 17-gallon cell. I think we got it off of Summit. But that's the way that it mounted, and this is how this works. And I thought that looked pretty nice. It actually fit the style of the truck. So what I'm going to do is, well, actually I'll show you the back of the truck first. So obviously the truck is a bit lowered. You could see right in there, if you just peek in and get the right amount of light shine under there, which you can see I have a light on the floor right here, you get a little bit of reflection, but if you were looking at the truck straight from the back, you almost don't even notice it. I actually thought about painting the back of the cell black. It's an aluminum cell, so it's fine not being painted. I thought about painting it black to just blend it in. I might do that someday, but I mean, literally, unless you're getting like all the way on your knees looking up underneath there, you can't even really notice that it's there. So I'm going to get underneath and I'll show you, or I'll at least try to show you how we mounted it and how we fit it up in there so you can see what that looks like. Okay, this is what the tank looks like under the truck. Like I said, it's that 17-gallon aluminum fuel cell. Really simple setup under here. All we did, and I'll show you a couple things under here that we did. One is we moved the rear cross member, the frame cross member, back about as far as we could, just so that it didn't, it was just inside the rear support for the bed. So this cross member was forward, maybe about, if I remember, maybe about like 5-6 inches, something like that. So we moved that back. You can see someone had already cut part of that out a little bit. That's fine for the build of this truck, but we did move it back. I gave us just enough clearance to put the tank in. Actually a little bit more, a couple extra inches than what we needed. And then I just built a frame out of angle iron. So I'll try to get up in here so you can see what that looks like. You'll see that piece right there, right here. I welded it to the cross member and then straight forward to the new shock mount. Let me see if I can get up in here and show you what that looks like. If you can see it. Right up in there. So you can see where the shock's mounted, and then, sorry, I know it's not the greatest shot, but you can see that bolt that's up there. So that angle goes right to that shock mount, and then it's welded right there. So front to back, it goes from that new shock mount support back to the frame rail, and then it's a piece of angle that goes from side to side, one in the front, one in the back. And then we did a couple of angle pieces to go right here, up and down, and then other angles to go underneath. So the nice part about this is this tank is really easy to get out if you ever need to. It's 4 bolts. So the whole top mount of the frame is bolted, and then that bottom piece of angle that goes across here on either side is just flipped upside down so that it catches the outside corner of the tank, and then it's just bolted in. I did put rubber pieces all the way around so that the tank is sitting on a rubber lip and not on the metal itself. And then literally that's it. You take these two and then the two out on this side, and if you have to, the whole tank can drop straight down. So it's a pretty easy setup, and it gives us plenty of clearance, ground clearance here, and it fit, like I said, perfectly in there. The other thing is we have 2.5-inch exhaust running out here. You can see it right there. There is just enough room, to get the exhaust between the tank and the leaf spring on both sides. Doesn't rub, doesn't bang off it or anything. I would have liked a little bit more clearance. It looks really tight the way that it is, but it's actually fairly tight to the frame, but it's probably about 3/4 of an inch or an inch away from the tank itself. Haven't had any issues. We got 3,000 miles on the truck to date with this setup and not one issue at all. So that worked out really well on both sides. And the angle iron for the top mount of the frame worked out to be a great support for the rear exhaust. So drilled through there, bolted, and we were able to do that. So that's how it worked. So that's the setup. If you guys have any questions about that or anything else on the truck, definitely let us know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys soon.